Hi everyone, it's Margie from Bumbles and Fairy Tales, and I'm here to share with you my top 12 of 2012. I know I'm a little late with this, since everybody seems to have moved on already from it, but I promised, and here it is. So, Katie McGarry's Pushing the Limits. This is one of the best contemporaries that came out in 2012, at least I think it is. And the relationship between Noah and Echo is just, it's just great. I mean, everything in there, all the kissing and all the trials and tribulations they went through, it's just perfect. If you haven't read it yet, you definitely should pick it up. If you're not a fan of contemporary, I'm pretty sure this will be the book that will change your mind. Everneath by Brodi Ashton. It was so different, the whole storyline, everything about it was just completely different. I fell in love with Jack, just how he would do anything for her, for Nikki, and I cannot wait to see what happens next, what happens to my little Jack. And yeah, the other guy I don't like so much, I don't even remember his name. So I'll probably be rereading this in order to read Everbound when it comes out. Next book is Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. You guys all know me. I love retellings and reimaginations. Inspired by Peter Pan. Someone has finally given Tiger Lily a voice and an opportunity to give her side of the story. I do admit the first like 50 pages or so, maybe even 100, are a little rough to get through because of the whole backstory a little bit and things like that, but once Tiger Lily comes across Peter Pan and Lost Boys and more of the story, it just moves along really quickly, and you get to start to feel all the feels, and you get a whole different perspective and a whole other side for Peter Pan and also Wendy. Those that didn't like Wendy will probably not like her even more after this book, but I understood why Wendy had to be or was the way she was in this one, so I highly recommend this one, especially if you're a fan of Peter Pan. Definitely pick this up. And yes, it's told in the perspective of Tinkerbell, and I don't think it takes anything away from it. The next book that I fell in love with last year is actually this series, and that's the Look series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The first book was in Obsidian, and the second one was Onyx. And need I say more? I mean, come on, green-eyed alien, and he's just so, like, I can't even put into words how awesome he is. The sarcasm, the wit, the humor, I mean, it's got everything. It's got action, it's got love, it's got kissing, and it's just everything that you would want in a book. So, Opal is coming to me sometime this week, and I can't wait to move along with this series and read more about Damon and now his twin brother. And the next series that I liked last year, the first book is Embrace, the second book is Entice. A whole new take on angels with the Gregories. First time I heard about Gregories was in the Fallen series, so it's just the build up, the story building, love triangle between Violet, Lincoln, and Violet and Phoenix. I mean, it's really, I mean, if you don't like love triangles, this is the exception. I'm not too crazy about love triangles. I can tolerate them up to a certain point. I have been a little bit tired of them, but this is one that I will never tire from because, let me tell you, Violet, regardless of what Phoenix did, I don't know. I still don't know who to choose if I want Lincoln or Phoenix to be the one. So, Embrace, Entice, and I am really looking forward to Blaze coming out this year. The next book that I fell in love with is Enchanted by Alethea Kontis. The way she weaved so many fairy tales in here and just kind of redid it all, it's just amazing the amount of stories that she was able to compile into just one book. And I believe I was under the impression that there was going to be a book for each of Sunday Sisters, but now I just read differently that I think it's just going to be a trilogy. So I'm not sure what the other two books are going to be focusing on, but I love this book, and no matter what she does with this series or what she writes, I will definitely be picking up and reading. I just loved it that much, and the cover is really gorgeous too. So the next book, I'm actually a little bit surprised it's on my top 12 because I'm not really big on high fantasy books, but Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo is an exception, a huge exception. The world building in here is just amazing. The characters, their powers, you can just picture it. I want this made into a movie. That's how good it is. The map and all the illustrations and everything inside the book, gorgeous. I cannot wait for the next book to come out, which is Siege and Storm. The next book is also a surprise because I didn't read it until about 2 weeks before the end of the year, and that's The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. That's quite a mouthful. I don't know why authors choose such long titles, especially ones that have really hard words to say, but it's memorable. You definitely won't forget this book. The way she brings these two characters is just amazing. I expected instant love, and it really wasn't like this. I mean, they did like each other, but just the way they kept coming back to each other and the whole story and the way it was left off, makes you wonder, was it just going to be for those 24 hours or are they going to still be together and yada yada, but I love this book, and it's another great contemporary that I highly recommend. The next book is also a surprise because I didn't read it until about 2 weeks before the end of the year, and that's The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. That's quite a mouthful. I don't know why authors choose such long titles, especially ones that have really hard words to say, but it's memorable. You definitely won't forget this book. The way she brings these two characters is just amazing. I expected instant love, and it really wasn't like this. I mean, they did like each other, but just the way they kept coming back to each other and the whole story and the way it was left off, makes you wonder, was it just going to be for those 24 hours or are they going to still be together and yada yada, but I love this book, and it's another great contemporary that I highly recommend. The next book is actually part of a series, and that's the Magic Most Foul series by Leanna, Renee, Hieber. First book is Darker Still. The second book is Twisted Tragedy. I believe Twisted Tragedy came out this year. Darker Still, I think, came out the year before in 2011. If you like historical fiction plus paranormal plus just a touch of steampunk, this is your series to follow. I'm surprised this series isn't more popular because it is really, really good. The relationship between the two characters when they meet in Darker Still is just amazing. I mean, it is a bit of an instant love kind of thing, but it was done in such a way that you don't even realize it, and the paranormal twist in there was, I just really loved it. And then in Twisted Tragedy, they're still together, there's more paranormal, it's just amazing. In the first book, Darker Still, Leanna Renee Hieber does a reimagination of the picture of Dorian Gray. I think that's what it's called. And then in the second book, she does a reimagination of Frankenstein, and the way she did it was just unbelievable. It was really, really good. So again, if you like historical fic, paranormal, with a slight touch of steampunk, this is definitely the series for you. The next book on my list is The Catastrophic History of You and Me by Jess Rothenberg. Another author who decided to choose a long-ass name, but I just love it so much. This book is about a girl whose heart literally breaks when her boyfriend breaks up with her. And in the afterlife, she meets another boy who helps her put the pieces back together, because after she left, some things happened, and she decides to go back and find out why and help people and all that other stuff. So it's such a good, memorable book for me too, because this is actually the first book that I read when I started book blogging, even though I never posted my review of it. It's also the first book that I went to for the release slash book signing party thing for it at Books of Wonder. It was my first time going to Books of Wonder too, so lots of memories in this book. I will definitely be rereading it, and I will always highly recommend this one too. I just love it so much. And the cover. And a new paperback cover just came out. It is absolutely even more gorgeous than the hardback. I'm probably gonna have to pick it up too, because it's just so beautiful. You should definitely check it out. Definitely. Supposedly my last book for 2012, but I do have one mention after this, so is Susane Colasanti's Keep Holding On. It's a book about a girl who gets bullied and stuff like that, and there's just so many life-altering things in here. I mean, there's such a big message. Every person, tween, teen, adult, teacher, parent, everybody should just read this book, and I'm sure every single one of you will have at least one thing in common and can really relate to the book and understand what it is that kids that are being bullied actually go through. So this really touched my heart. And then my honorable mention is the Bells series by by Jen Calonita. First came out Bells, and then came out Winter White. I mean, let alone the gorgeous covers, but the story is just so much fun. It's contemporary. It takes place in the South. The drama, the things that happen. It's just such a good, like, passing time kind of read. I mean, if you're just looking for a quick fun read, this is definitely a good series to follow. I can't wait for the third one to come out. And Jen is just a super sweet. She lives locally on Long Island too, and I just adore her. So definitely check out her series. And that's it. That's my 12, well, actually 13 mentions for 2012. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys with my January TBR in a little while. Thanks, guys.